Now coming back to Government of India Act 1919. Government of India Act 1919. Before going discussing the points, let me discuss the important ones. Let me discuss the core important points with regards to this Government of India Act 1990. Yes, sir. What are the important provisions of this Government of India Act 1919? First, it clearly demarcated the central and the provincial subjects. First one, it clearly demarcated the central and the provincial subjects. This is the important concepts you need to remember. Okay. And at central level, it introduced bicameralism. At central level, it introduced bicameralism. What does it mean by bicameralism, sir? That is lower house and upper house. My dear friends, this act becomes very much important, Government of India Act 1919, because 100 years, 2019. Okay, for this prelims, although we are in 2020, for prelims last May se abhi tak. So that's the reason Government of India Act 1919 is very much important. So for the first concept, important point you need to remember is it clearly demarcated the central subjects and the provincial subjects. At central level, it introduced the system of bicameralism. It means having a lower house and a upper house. That is the system of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. And then at provincial level, it introduced a concept known as diarchy. At provincial level, it introduced a concept known as diarchy, that is dual rule. Diarchy. Under this, all these subjects were classified into two, that is reserved subjects, and next one is the transferred subjects. Okay, reserved subjects and the transferred subjects. These reserved subjects are administered by Governor General and his Executive Council. Administered by Governor General and his Executive Council. Don't confuse, my dear friends. At provincial level, Government of India Act 1919 introduced a system known as diarchy. Under this diarchy, the provincial subjects were divided into two. Those are reserved subjects and the transferred subjects. Reserved subjects are those subjects which are administered by the Governor General with the advice of his Executive Council. With the aid of his Executive Council. Whereas transferred subjects are administered by government with the aid of ministers. These are responsible to Legislative Council. Okay. Hope the things are clear for you, sir. First, Government of India Act 1919 clearly demarcated the central subjects and the provincial subjects. At central level, it introduced a system known as bicameralism, where the two houses, that is, it consists of a lower house and upper house. At provincial level, it introduced a system known as diarchy, where these provincial subjects were divided into two, that is reserved and the transferred subjects. Reserved subjects are administered by the Governor General with the aid of his Legislative Council, whereas the transferred subjects, they are responsible to the Legislative Council. Reserved subjects responsible to Executive Council, transferred subjects with regards to the Legislative Council. Now coming to the other important provisions. My dear friends, a big blunder. This is not Indian Council Act. Okay, this is Government of India Act. Please make note of it. This is not Indian Council Act. This is Government of India Act 1990. Yes, sir. What are the important provisions of this act? First provision is appointment of statutory commission to inquire into and report on its working after 10 years of coming into force. That is, a statutory commission will be set up and it will review the functioning of the Government of India Act 1990. My dear friends, which is the famous committee which was set up in 1927? Simon Commission. Okay, it is talking about that one. So this Simon Commission, it has mentioned here itself, appointment of statutory commission to inquire into and report on its working after 10 years. Okay. However, this Simon Commission was set up 2 years ahead in 1927. Simon Go Back, the famous campaign. Okay. Next. For the first time, provincial budgets were supported from central budget. Sorry sir, please excuse me. These are separated. Okay. For the first time, provincial budgets were separated from central budget and provincial legislatures can enact their own subjects. Okay. Please focus here. Please make note of it. For the first time, provincial budgets were separated from the central budget. Next one. And provincial legislatures can enact on their subjects. Next one. Communal representation. My dear friends, communal representation, separate electorates were for the first time introduced in 1909, Morley-Minto reforms, but they were expanded in 1919 by providing separate electorates for 6 Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians and Europeans. 1909, separate electorates were introduced for the first time, whereas in 1919, separate electorates were expanded to 6 Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians and Europeans. Next, it introduced the system of diarchy at provincial level. As I discussed, diarchy consists of 2 subjects, that is the transferred and the reserved subjects. Next one is Executive Council of Viceroy should consist of 3 Indians out of 6 members. Executive Council of Viceroy should consist of 3 Indians out of 6 other than the Commander-in-Chief. Okay. Executive Council of Viceroy consists of Commander-in-Chief also, except the Commander-in-Chief, it should consist of 3 Indians. If you could recollect, 1909, for the first time Indian got associated with the Executive Council, that is Satyendra Prasad Sinha. In 1919, it increased from 1 member to 3 members. Whereas 1909, only Satyendra Prasad Sinha. In 1909, 3 members were included in the Executive Council. Next one, franchise. Franchise matlab voting rights. My dear friends, I am extremely sorry for these corrections. Okay, this is Government of India Act 1919 and I am extremely sorry. Please make it separated, not supported. Okay, please make it separated. Okay, now voting rights are limited to very few people. Okay, very limited to very few people based on the property tax and education. In 1919, there is no concept of universal adult franchise in India. The voting rights are given to very restricted and given to limited set of people. It is given to only few people based on the property tax or their education status. Next one, the point which I discussed, the governance is clearly demarcated and separated into central and provincial subjects. The governance is clearly demarcated and separated into central and provincial subjects. Next one, the most important thing, High Commission. Okay, this one overseas office was created there. It created a new office of High Commission for India in London. It is nothing but diplomatic outpost for India was created in London, that is High Commission. Okay, High Commission created a new office of High Commission for India in London and transferred some functions of Secretary of State. Okay, these are the important things, and most importantly, it led for the establishment of Public Service Commission. It led for the foundation of the Public Service Commission, which was set up in 1926. Okay, my dear friends, just we referred here about High Commissions. Okay, a quick fact. Okay, do research. What is the difference between High Commission and embassy? Okay, what's the difference between High Commission and embassy? Out of curiosity, just for your information, I am giving. High Commissions those are the diplomatic outposts belonging to the Commonwealth nations. Those are known as high commissions, whereas the diplomatic outposts of other nations, those are known as embassies. Okay. So coming to the mnemonic of it, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, P. Very simple alphabets: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and P for Public Service Commission. A for appointment of statutory commission. B for bicameralism and budget, provincial and this one budget separated. C for communal representation was expanded. D for diarchy was set up at provincial level. Next, E for executive council, 3 members, franchise is limited. And next, G for governance demarcated separate. The provincial and this one central governments clearly demarcated. H for high commission and P for provincial subjects. Okay, my dear friends, that's it. Very easy. Let's have a quick recap. Grapes. You ate grapes and you became sick. And then you have done your masters in technology and then in toilets. Yes, sir. Then you went solo in caves. And then next, drop ban on CFL. Okay. And then finally, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, P. That's it, my dear friends. Just please revise them. This historical background of Indian Constitution will be a cakewalk. For sure, if you remember these mnemonics, you will never forget not even a single provision.